Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bracket Up. Today we're doing something, I guess we consider it a sequel to an episode we did over the summer, Best Album of All Time. This is Best Album of All Time, Part 2, Part Dos, Part 2. We've got 17 albums, one kind of a joke pick that I feel like turned into something absolutely fucking fantastic that I'll be voting for. And 16, I guess, normal musical albums that you would consider music. We threw them into a bracket. We're going to discuss them and figure out which is the best album, part number 2. And we'll probably end up doing this again in like 3-4 months. I like doing this as like a quarterly kind of thing. It's a blast. It's nice to learn some new music. Hello, cat. Hope y'all heard the meowing cat that just showed up in my room.
Yes.
Before we get started, I will introduce everybody. I'm handy dandy Andy Jarek. Next to me, as always, Mr. What here today. Andy Misek, how are you?
Good. Woke up late, and I can't start without a shower, so here we are.
Clean. Gotta feel clean for this podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, next to Andy is Red Dead Dave Holloway. How are you, Dave?
Good. I've been watching a lot of GTA 5 role-playing on Twitch.
Well, you had me to role-play, but you want to explain real quick?
Yeah, it's like a special server where everyone has to stay like completely in character. So like you have people like acting as actual cops and like arresting criminals that are like robbing houses, and
okay.
It's interesting. People working at burger chains dealing with other people that are just playing. It's interesting to watch, and then you see people from one stream you watch show up in another stream because it's just people like living in the world. It's cool.
That actually sounds kind of fun. May have to check it out. Next to Dave is Greek Lightning himself, Mr. Tom Kairos. How are you today?
Hey, doing good. Been a while since I've been on one of these.
I'm glad you made it to this one. It's good to see your beautiful face.
I have to just defend my choices, so I wanted to make sure to try to make it.
Absolutely. Next to Tom and rounding off the group today is the Giggle King himself, Julian Griffin. How are you, my good man?
Doing all right. I'm excited. I had fun listening to a lot of these albums, or a lot of them, all of them, and I shaved for this shit, so let's do it.
He shaved for it, so let's get started. We have one album that made it to round 2 automatically, got the bye. That was Igor by Tyler, the Creator. That's the only one that got to round 2. Everything else will have to make it through the first round. So our very first matchup is Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City against Baby Metal's Baby Metal. I think most people here know Kendrick Lamar and generally in the world have heard of Kendrick Lamar and his meteoric rise to popularity. Baby Metal is a little bit of a niche.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be positive with all the
Andy
albums.
Here's a hater.
Despite not liking Baby Metal, I found a song that I enjoyed, and I think here's my hot take on this one. I liked Baby Metal more than on the last brackets Fleetwood Mac CD.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Oh,
you are so strange sometimes.
In fact, every album on here I got through at least. One of them I liked less than Fleetwood Mac, but I made sure I got myself through it.
Okay.
Just to explain for our listeners, Roy, they're like a blend of Japanese like pop idol and metal, and they're very divisive in the metal community because some people like outright reject it because it's like cute, and they don't think that has a place in metal. But like they've played alongside like Metallica, Slayer, Avenged Sevenfold, Megadeth, Dragon Force, Judas Priest, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Guns N' Roses, Korn, and they even opened for Lady Gaga at some point.
Kelly's seen him live. She hated him.
From what I understand, apparently WWE used one of their songs from the second album for NXT TakeOver The End. I don't know what that is, but
okay. Little pay-per-view thing. That's cool.
Yeah, and if you play Super Mario Maker on the Wii U, you can play as Baby Metal. They're in Mario.
Oh, really?
Play as the
Popular.
The 3 singers. They're in. It's a trio. Though it's a duo now, but they're in Super Mario Maker on the Wii U.
What happened to the third member?
They left after the second album. just to do their own solo career thing. So
Okay.
It just sounds like anime vocalists with death metal music, and then every now and then they growl, and then sometimes like the music gets weirdly DDR-y.
It was surprisingly fun for me. Like my favorite song was "Gimme Chocolate," and then
Same with me. That was the one I
Li-
liked.
Yeah, and then Line was all over the fucking place, but I really liked it because it was like it was metal, and then it went like kind of hip hop a little bit, and then it went straight back to metal, and I was just like, "What is going on?" At the time, it was great, so I enjoyed
yeah.
it.
My fear with this though is so many people are saying they enjoy it that I consider the Kendrick Lamar CD one of the best on this list. So I
It
think
is a
it's gonna
good
go
album.
out.
It
I
was
really got to say,
classic.
I didn't hate the Kendrick Lamar album, but it didn't do anything for me. Like it was like good vibe music, but it wasn't really like the type of good vibe music I'd go for. But it was good, but it just didn't like strike me or anything.
I don't know how bold to say this is, but I would consider this particular CD a modern day classic.
It is a modern day classic. I mean, he worked on this album for years before he released it. I wouldn't say it's his best work, but I would definitely say that it sparked a lot of popularity very quickly. Because
I think it's his most consistently good one.
No, I would disagree because everybody really loved To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly, I would say, is better than Good Kid, Mad City.
Each their own, I suppose.
Did Good Kid have more kind of like radio singles? Because I'm not very familiar with Kendrick, but I recognize like 4 or 5 of his songs I'd heard in various places before.
Yeah.
Yes and no. So Swimming Pools and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, I know were radio singles, but I know like
So was Poetic Justice. Poetic Justice was on there too.
oh yeah. But then like the Backseat Freestyle,
Yeah.
a lot of people know because Taylor Swift did something with it. I don't know, she did it herself. And then the Good Kid, Mad City wasn't that the one that did they did a mashup with Radioactive?
Yeah.
That might be. Oh, that's not the good point you think it is.
But it was influential. Like a lot of people bit from Kendrick Lamar off of this album. But
it lost album of the year to fucking Macklemore.
That was dumb as hell. It was really fucking dumb.
That's very sad.
It was stupid because Macklemore had to like go up to K-Dot and was like, I feel like I lost and you should have gotten that album, but that is just what it is. But it's a great album. I mean, what is your favorite? Like, if everyone were to take a favorite, I picked favorites for like every album.
Yeah.
So
Favorite song?
My favorite, yeah.
My favorite song on the Kendrick. Oh, so somebody else say it if they have one.
I really enjoyed Money Trees.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think either Good Kid, Mad City. I like that, or Backseat Freestyle is good too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked the like flow of Backseat Freestyle.
Bouncy as hell. My favorite was The Art of Peer Pressure, and then Master Splinter, Shireen, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The opening song was really, really good. It was groovy. I like songs that'll make me groove. So those two.
All right, I think that's enough. We can vote on. I'm clearly going with Kendrick Lamar.
I'm going Baby Metal.
I'm Kendrick Lamar.
I gotta go Baby Metal because I had so much fun listening to that. I did. I really did. I had a lot of fun listening to that album.
Relatively quiet Andy on this.
I'm not expecting everyone to like Baby Metal, but I wanted to put it on there because it's gonna be. I wanted to expose people to it. So
that's what I appreciate about this podcast in general, and especially the music stuff, is that Dave has exposed us to so many interesting things that I never knew existed before. That being said, I'm voting for Kendrick Lamar. Baby Metal is fine. I really like Doki Doki Morning. I think that was my favorite of that. But I don't know. I just think Kendrick was simply better. But again, maybe I'll listen to another Baby Metal album.
Second album's pretty good. Third album had the second half I really like. The first half I don't. But they're good.
We all talking about the music, Dave and brought an influencer show to us. I'm more keen to what Julian's been showing us.
Alrighty.
If
Next
that's foreshadowing.
Matchup number 2 is Father John Misty's I Love You Honey Bear against Capital Cities in a tidal wave of mystery.
This is a no-brainer for me, so I'll let somebody
We
else
know
talk.
how much you love Capital Cities.
I do.
And you love this album in particular.
Start to end, fantastic. You talk about so good.
I do
Well, I
like
kind of had the kind of the same problem with the tidal wave as I did with Kendrick Lamar, in that I thought it was good, like good vibe music, but I just wasn't vibing with it like at all. Like it just wasn't leaving an impact on me.
I agree. I actually had to find songs because, like,
Really?
I was surprised that 3 Stacks was on it, and I was like, "Oh shit, Andre's on there!" And then I listened to it, and I listened to his verse, and I was like, I couldn't even get anything out of that.
Really?
I actually had to force it to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I had fun, but I was just like, Like, I like Center Stage and Chasing You. Center Stage I could groove to. Chasing You I really liked as well, but
Just wondering here, did anyone listen to, I think it's technically the deluxe album, but not really. It's just the one that has 1 minute more on it. Anyone listen to that?
Yeah, Spotify had the deluxe one, so
I owned it, so
yeah,
of course I have.
I think if you add 1 minute more onto this album, it gets a fuckload better. Because that's one of their top 3 songs in my opinion for this album.
okay.
the remixes, right?
I did not listen to the remix.
Yeah, the remixes I didn't listen to either. Man, I Love You Honey Bear was surprisingly good to me. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was a slow build, but it was definitely worth it at the end. I couldn't even pick a favorite song. Like, I liked Strange Encounter, I really liked When You're Smiling and Astride Me, and then True Affection was really good. I enjoyed it. That shit was really nice.
I wrote down for this 2 words. Very meh. It wasn't bad. I'm not going back to listen to it. Nothing memorable.
I'd be interested in checking out more of what he has, and I'll probably give this album another listen while like following along with the lyrics a little bit more, like less distracted. But I enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it more than Capital Cities.
Oh no. Too groovy.
Dude has done a ton of stuff, not just under Father John, but his real name, I believe, I forgot what it was, Josh something, Jordan, something with a J. He's probably put out like 10 albums or so. I don't know if they all kind of sound the same or he experiments or what, but you've got your choices there. I'll go first. I went last time. I'll vote for Capital Cities. I absolutely love this album as well. Andy, I'm kind of surprised because last episode when we were talking about the Disco Demolition Night, you're like, I hate disco. And like, this is very much disco influenced.
And it's actually one of the comments I had for it is modern day Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to Andy's definition on music genres as well.
Capital Cities also covers Stayin' Alive, which is, the Bee Gees' biggest hit, and it's a slowed down version, and it's pretty damn good.
It's
I'm going with Honey Bear.
I gotta go with Honey Bear too.
Mine is gonna be Capital Cities. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
There you go.
All right, Capital Cities moves on. Next matchup, Santa Gold's self-titled album, Santa Gold, against Anderson .Paak's Ventura.
Originally called Santo Gold, but then she got in trouble with the company, so that she had to change the name and the name of the album.
I saw that too.
I like this one. I was actually pretty surprised by it.
Yeah, I don't think every single track on this album is like the best, but I think like nobody had heard of her when I mentioned if anyone had listened to her before.
Sounded like
and there's
Furtado to begin.
Yeah, a lot of people make that comparison.
I liked both of them, but one of them I liked a lot better.
Hold on, Andy, what did you say this one reminded you of?
I thought the first 5 songs I thought had kind of like a light version of Paramore sound to it. That's what I thought.
What?
Thank you.
What? Really?
I was like, this shit sounds like it would go hard in high school. Like,
it's lighter than Paramore, but like
maybe
the third song, the second song in particular, I don't remember the names. I'm trying to find them. Very kind of like
maybe
light alternative-y kind of.
and then it was like ska a little bit, and then
Yeah.
it was like there was a genre of like hip hop, and I was like, I didn't really listen to hip hop, and the only song that I really liked out of that was "I'm a Lady," and even that I was like, I couldn't really get into it.
Okay.
I just think when it got away from that kind of sound that I thought was the alternative-y kind, it lost me a little more when it tried to branch out. It didn't work.
Maybe I haven't listened to a lot of Paramore, but this sounds nothing like Paramore to me. Like,
Listen,
I can't even see the comparison.
I'm glad somebody else agreed with me at least.
I'm shocked. I thought this was going to be 4 people telling you you're wrong.
Maybe you just need to listen to more music then.
Oh, maybe.
10 minutes in and throwing shade.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't listened to Paramore in years either.
Yeah, like I just think of like That's What You Get song, and I'm like, nothing sounded like that on here. Nothing at all.
I don't know
Maybe
if it was
it's the
necessarily.
aesthetic. Maybe not the sound, but the aesthetic, sure.
I don't know
Very
if it was the
pop-punk.
lyrics. It might have been just the music that was giving me that. I don't know.
I was just like, Paramore to me is like pop punk, and this was not.
This was pop punk. This was so pop punk.
I would say this
I
was
don't know
more
about that.
like.
Pop punk meets Azalea Banks.
I would
That's
say.
what it felt like.
I think both of them are more like. Yeah, maybe pop punk. I thought kind of like. I don't think Santa Gold is pop punk, but more like. The start sounded alternative-y, which is kind of like light punky kind of.
It's a nice fusion of a bunch of cool stuff. I did really appreciate that so many songs sounded different, and she clearly went out of her way to try different stuff and not just make a kind of singular sounding album. Maybe they weren't all hits, some might have been little misses, but I can certainly appreciate somebody branching out over 13 songs and really trying some different stuff. It was cool.
And too bad it's up against Ventura, which is just real good.
I don't have to say anything because Anderson .Paak, everything that man puts out is a hit. Every single song on that album is a fucking hit. That shit will make you groove.
Yeah.
It's great.
The only one I didn't give a heart to on this album was Yada Yada, and even then it wasn't bad. It just wasn't something I wanted to add to my like list. But it was so good.
I wrote down for this one, very good, like it a lot, super chill, and then like if I had a criticism, some of the songs got a little samey towards the end, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. If I like the sound, it sounds samey. So
man, if you want to talk about samey capital cities, I was at the end. I was like, is this the same song?
No.
Which song did you feel samey? Because the last song in Ventura was with Nate Dogg, and I was just like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Pouring out for Nate Dogg.
I'm just telling you what I felt going through it.
And then honestly, the 2 songs that I couldn't even choose between was either it was a toss up between Good Heels with Jasmine Sullivan and then Make It Better, which was the second song on the album.
I'd have to give it another listen to pick out what my favorite was. So,
same here.
But again, everything.
I'm pretty sure Dave and I did the same thing and went through all of these albums in a matter of 2.5 days. So it's kind of
during work.
Yeah, it's kind of just all smashed together at this point. That's why I wrote notes. I mean,
I can appreciate a guy using a lot of different sounds and a lot of different instruments to make songs stand out. And I've never seen him live, but if he brings a full band to a live show, that is my fucking jam. That sounds like it'd be an awesome time.
Every time he does. Every time he performs, it's always with a full band.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'll vote for Anderson .Paak as well, but
obviously
I think Santa Gold just kind of ran up against a top contender.
Yeah.
Tom?
I'm going to deviate from the pack. I'll go with Santa Gold. Show some love.
Everyone needs a little love.
Anderson .Paak.
Shit.
Moving on. Uh-oh.
No. All right. I already know what I'm choosing.
All right. Next matchup is Denzel Curry's Zoo against Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. Julian, why don't you go first? Enlighten us.
I really like Denzel Curry. This one, I put Zoo and I thought that it might be a good contender, but I was like listening to it and then I listened to his previous album, Taboo, and I was like, shit, should have put Taboo on there. Oh. This one was cool. If you're not really familiar with like Southern rap, and like Florida rap and Texas, you're not really gonna get anything out of it. I do because I listen to it all the time. I do enjoy like a lot of the different flows and stuff, and I do like the high amount of energy. But I was like, this is probably one of the weaker picks that I've had. So, but still, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So, I think what was my favorite song I had on there was like Carol Mart, Pocket Full of Money. So that was about it. And then I was like, I don't think everybody was gonna get it because Andy, you were saying it sounded like generic rap music.
Yeah, it's so here. I have something to say about both of these. I'll start with Michael Jackson. So I respect the talent. I get it. I just never was a huge fan. But I'll show my hand now. I'm probably gonna vote for it just because of I get it. I get it. It was good. Just one of those things. It's like it's me. Not for me. There's a couple of big time artists I feel that way about. Julian and I were talking about it. Yeah, Denzel Curry though, I liked it, but it was also like, it's kind of generic. You dime a dozen sort of rap sounding. I kind of wish you put the other album in because if it is that much better, I'd like to hear it because he was good. I enjoyed it, but it felt a dime a dozen.
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. There were certainly some songs on there that I was like, but at least half of that album I ended up having a heart next to on Spotify.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Ricky. That might have been my favorite one. And I thought it was really nice to get a 29-minute album and to get a lot thrown into a short amount of time. The order that I had ended up listening these, I had the three albums I had listened before were all like approximately an hour long. And I was like, Jesus fuck, I want to get through something quick. And I luckily picked this one. And I was
the
really
short
surprised.
albums were very key.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Man, but Michael, I gotta go with Michael, man, because Off the Wall is a classic album. He won 3 Grammy
that's really hard
nominations.
to beat.
Like, my favorite song was Girlfriend, and I was just like, that is some savage shit that he's singing so happily about. If anybody remembers the song, it's the one where he's talking about girlfriend, I'm gonna tell your boyfriend.
Right.
Shit that we've been doing in the sheets. I was like, damn, Mike, it's like that.
You look at his the album cover and like, this guy's doing that? Him?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's stealing people's girlfriends. I was like, people talk about Michael raping kids. I'm like, no, you talk about him fucking your girlfriend and then writing a song about it.
Got that fucking like this look on the cover. I'm like, what?
Like,
Corny as hell.
some scandalous shit. But I gotta go Mike. I gotta go Michael. I gotta go with the stronger choice.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson as well on this one.
Same.
If it was,
I'll give one to Denzel.
I liked Denzel better, but I don't think I liked it enough to be like make an argument that it was better than the Michael Jackson album. So I
think Michael Jackson is one of those artists that I want like the greatest hits of specifically, rather than an individual album, like him and Queen.
Not Queen. I could do any Queen, but Michael Jackson, yeah, probably greatest hits. I like a handful of Michael Jackson songs.
It's wild. He's always had like a couple on every album that you know, and then a bunch of stuff that's not necessarily filler, but
still good. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's good. It's just not like super good. But all right, moving on to our next album. Finally, Tom's going to chime in here. Celine Dion's Let's Talk About Love going up against the Joke album by Nick Lutzko, Songs on the Computer. Tom, please enlighten us.
So, okay, I mentioned this before we started recording. I don't listen to a lot of albums in full. This is probably the most I've ever done and ever. So I had to pick one, and I'm like, well, if I had to pick one for ones that I really liked, I probably would go with one of my favorite artists, and I went with this one specifically because it has the theme song from Titanic on it, which everyone knows and adores, and it is a one-take Jake song. So not many people can belt out a classic just like that in one turn. So that's why I thought I'd throw it on there. And some other ones on here that I like. I like Tell Him with Barbra Streisand and stuff like that. I know that's very sappy, and I well aware of my audience, but I'm like, let's throw it on there and
Hold
see.
on. Hold the fuck on. There were quite a few songs on that album that I really, really enjoyed. And overall, it had a really strong production. And for whatever reason, I was just like, I bet money that Tom sang some of these songs in karaoke. Money
I
fucking-
actually did do My Heart Will Go On in karaoke,
I
and
knew
there is
it.
a video with
I
it.
fucking knew it. I knew
There
it.
is a video of it. Yes, it does exist.
I
It's
feel real
terrible,
bad.
but it's there. It's
I
terrible.
feel real bad because Celine Dion's the only one. This album and the Christmas album, I couldn't finish. I didn't have the time, and I'm like,
It's
I gotta
okay.
prioritize other stuff.
I
No,
finished the
Oh,
fuck out of that
yeah.
album.
I
I'm
respect-
Haciendo Elmore, and then When I Need You, Treat Her Like a Lady, and then Why Oh Why. I was like, all right, these are dope. Other than that, that was a somebody got their cheeks clapped to this album. That was a baby music. I promise to God. It was.
Yes, that person is on this podcast.
You knew well. Putting that on how I felt about it. We were roommates. I've heard this. I've heard this. A lot of these songs. Not a fan. Sorry. And it's
No, it's okay. It's not for everyone.
Julian over here talking about the good production value. Sometimes that doesn't matter. And the perfect
That doesn't matter
example.
to you.
The perfect example is right here in Songs on the Computer. Yeah, he doesn't have the big budget of Celine Dion, but oh man, each one
It
of
was
those
funny.
is an instant classic.
I
in
love
my
this
book.
album.
It was funny. It was really funny.
Everyone should follow him on Twitter because he continues to, like, all of these songs were released on Twitter first with a music video that is just as funny as the songs themselves. And he continues to put stuff out. Like he put out one about wanting to be on the Joe Rogan podcast recently. That's very good.
I already bought a T-shirt.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, somebody's
I
beat
taking
you
my
to it,
role
Andy.
here.
Fun fact for the Halloween, the Spirit Halloween theme song, the first one, that wasn't like a paid promotion ahead of time, but he did end up getting paid for that song by Spirit Halloween.
And
I think they paid for the
Nick
second
Jr.
song though.
The Nick
Yeah,
Jr.
that-
shit
yeah.
was hilarious.
So,
Baby Blood's great. If you ever know a QAnon follower, that's what they believe, the Baby Blood song. So
I like the
This
Nick
was my
Jr.
favorite
one.
song.
I liked the Gremlins one. Obviously Spirit Halloween was good. Boat Parade was fantastic. The RNC song was great.
Trump's ass is great.
It's so good.
It's funny though.
Well, I'm voting for that one.
Bro, I'm
Yeah.
gonna vote for mine, obviously.
I'm voting Celine Dion. That shit was
Thank
it was an
you.
amazing album. It was an
I'm
amazing
voting
album.
songs on the computer.
Oh, Jarek, do the
Oh
upset.
my God. This is okay. Celine for me was like I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I liked, a handful of songs on there. It's just too fucking long. It's 75 minutes. Every song is 5
But
minutes. long.
wait, think of this. Like it was the 90s. This came out in 96.
Yeah.
Music didn't come out nearly as fast. And plus, Celine Dion was big as shit
Oh, yeah.
back in the 90s.
Hmm.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm not saying she wrote some good songs. I enjoyed I Hate You Then I Love You. I enjoyed, obviously, My Heart Will Go On, and a handful of others. It just, after a while, they all kind of started to sound the same, and that fucking reggaeton song was ass.
Yeah.
Ass.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Pure ass. I'm sorry.
I liked Treat Her Like a Lady. It was different. It wasn't sappy. And I was just like, oh, okay. But if we're going to talk about that, she took a whole bunch of references from Toni Braxton, and she took a whole bunch of references from Boyz II Men, like When I Need You. That was Boyz II Men, if you've ever heard of Boyz II Men. So I don't blame her for that.
That's
I
fine.
do.
You could've just
It's still
cut that
got to
off.
sound good. Just because you have influence, it's got to sound
Thank you,
good.
Julian. Thank you for attempting.
Whatever.
yeah,
they,
I'm
have
going-
they have no culture, no class.
Yeah, if Bill was here, this would have been a tie. I'm shocked.
True. Yeah, I'm going songs on the computer. At least he writes his own songs.
Oh.
Sorry.
Shade.
No, it's okay.
Again, it wasn't bad, and I it just ran into like that was my favorite album from all of these that weren't ones I already know. All right, moving on. We've got The Christmas Portrait by the Carpenters. Tom, again, your gigantic fucking Christmas album.
Boo!
Songs against Prequel by Ghost, the band Ghost.
What genre would you say this band is?
Let me start this. I don't think Ghost is really a metal band. I described it, and it's gonna sound dumb. I described it as kind of like a throwbacky sound 80s, like a hair metal or a prog rock. But that's not like metal. It's more like I got vibes
metal.
of like Judas Priest or like what was the other one I mentioned? Def Leppard-y kinda. But it's not.
This is
metal.
an album about the plague. That's a metal topic. Like
a topic doesn't.
This is a metal album.
It's like
This is a metal album. There's a wide range of sounds in metal. This is a metal album, and it's not all just
when I think
death
of
metal or
I
heavy
think of
metal.
Iron Maiden. I think of Black Sabbath. It doesn't have that vibe. This is more like a softer. You
It's
call
more
it
melodic.
soft. Yeah.
It's more melodic, and then they experiment with stuff. Like Miasma was great. I appreciated
the reason this came up is because I said I'm not as big into metal as I used to be, but I fucking love this album.
This is metal. I don't. Yeah.
It seems that most people are on the fence about it. It's not that big of a thing to say it's not metal. That's where I'm gonna draw the line. Because no one needs to hear that anymore. It's so fucking good, is what they need to hear, and everyone should listen to it.
But the harmonies on Christmas Portrait.
Get out of here. Living with Tom. I lived with Tom for like 4 years. He'd throw on the Christmas music the day after Halloween.
Okay, hear me out. I know. I love this, and I know listening to this in February probably wasn't ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but I figured it's a little trolly, but I do love Christmas music, and this is my favorite group. I love some of their hits, and Karen Carpenter's voice is angelic as well. I did a theme with my two picks, and I know it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum than what it's up against, but I just wanted to throw it on there and see how far I could write it out.
Tom
is so white that Bill Johnson was conceived to do it.
Fun fact: Ghost is Bill's pick, or one of his picks, which I was shocked about. But it is, man, I loved it. Kelly's also super into Ghost, so it helped that I've heard a good chunk of these songs already.
I like the first medley that they had in the Carpenters. I thought that was pretty dope, and I've always liked "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," and the vocals were nice.
Tom, you got me to listen to a full Christmas album.
Well, I mean,
I've probably heard
you
them all.
might as well listen to one living with me, but
yeah, but I'd always complain like, why now? Why November 1st?
And now it's why February. So.
Yeah, look, I love Christmas. I'm not a Christmas music guy. If this aired in December, I might have been more lenient, but also it's up against one of my favorite on the list, so also a bad draw for the Christmas music.
Yeah, I gotta vote Ghost.
Ghost.
Ghost. I'm sorry.
Ghost all the way, baby.
This seems like the quintessential Christmas album you'd put on, though.
I'm sticking with mine.
I'll join you there, Tom.
Thank you. Now you do. I needed you the last round.
I tried. I really tried getting it.
All right, guys. All right, on to our last matchup of the first round. It's Japan Droids' Celebration Rock versus Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I think I need to give Celebration Rock a second listen because it just, by the time I got to Celebration Rock, it was at the end of, a long day at work, and so I couldn't really, I was already focused on some other stuff. I enjoyed what I was hearing, but I have to give it a more attention listen.
I want to hear Jarek defend Celebration Rock since Dominic's not here to defend the Kanye one.
Picture Carl Sandburg High School back in 2007 and the Starbucks across the street is holding a battle of the bands. That's what I gave Celebration Rock. That's how I felt about it.
I want to hear Jarek's
Ouch.
defend it a little.
Fucking ouch. This is one of my favorite albums. It's 8 songs of nonstop fun, 37 minutes. I don't know. I won't say it's hard to describe. I know a lot of the songs kind of sound similar, but I think it's so fucking catchy, so hooky. I don't know. I absolutely love it. It's just an album that makes me personally want to go out and do something, even if it's going out and like just going to do my groceries, go drive somewhere, go do something with your life.
I can see you jogging in the summer or playing frisbee with somebody.
Hell yes, frisbee all the way. I just kind of feel bad because it goes up against My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and that's kind of a powerhouse.
Well, hold on. I have some opinions about that Kanye album.
I want to just say 2 things about 2 songs real quick. Runaway and Blame Game, I think, are very good songs that are then immediately ruined by the second half of the songs. That's my two cents on these 2 songs.
Beautiful
Otherwise,
Dark
great
Twisted
album.
Fantasy is not Kanye's best. I don't think it is.
It is.
It's got some highs, but they're the singles, and I don't even like Runaway. I would take.
Honestly, it's more of an album of just singles. If you're really be honest about it,
Yeah.
It feels like he kind of just put a bunch of singles together and put them in. Because if this would have been like College Dropout, then this would have been a much better pick. Honestly,
Bingo.
I'm gonna have to go with Celebration Rock because it was like, even though I don't really go for that type of music, I still enjoyed The House That Heaven Built. I like that song a lot. But like as far as Kanye stuff, I'm like, I listen to it, I like it, but I don't really remember the songs. And when I listen to them, I'm like, oh, there's that song I've heard like 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's the singles that I think are good on it. Like I like Power and all of the lights sort of, or whatever it is. It lost it because the Hawks use it as one of their intros, and it's a really shitty intro. So,
I love All the Lights.
Yeah, hockey always ruins everything, huh?
Yeah. But then, like, other than that, like, Runaway was a single, and then the non-singles were all just kind of like, well, I'd rather be listening to like Graduation or something. Hell, I think Jesus is better than this one, and that's kind of like a both ironic and unironic reasons for that.
Jesus is King is far better than this album, honestly.
I mean, I could probably name 5 Kanye albums I'd rather listen to. This is probably one of my least favorite. Did I like Celebration Rock though? I don't know. It stinks because this was one I listened to at like 11:30 at night. So, I shed on this Kanye one a lot. I'll go with Celebration Rock.
Yeah, I'm going Celebration Rock.
Oh, all right, I appreciate that, guys. I'm happy to move on. So I'm obviously voting for it.
Yeah. I'll go Celebration Rock as well. Again, I have to give it another listen. It could be that afterwards I might like the Kanye one more, but
Dominic is rolling right now, man.
I'll be the odd one out. I'll go with Kanye's.
I just wish Dominic picked like any of the other Kanye CDs. Because he's got so much good shit.
Oh well. That's the joys of Bracket Up. You never know what you're going to get when you throw it in the cauldron. All right, on to round 2. Kendrick Lamar is back. He's going up against Tyler, the Creator's Igor.
All right, I got a hot take right off the bat with this one.
Here we go.
I went into this excited for Tyler, the Creator. I've heard so many good things. It's one of the artists I never listened to, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm super amped. I was so disappointed. I didn't like it. It could just be this album. I want to listen to more because so many people talk about how great Tyler the Creator is, and I believe it, but I just didn't like it.
I can see that, Andy. I was mixed on it myself.
For Andy, I can see why he doesn't like it.
I loved it.
Honestly.
Yeah, same. There's only 2 songs on this album that I don't have a heart next to on Spotify. It's great. Fantastic.
I'm sorry. I want it. I want nothing more than to be part of the fandom of Tyler the
This
Creator.
is like the first album of his that I've listened to, because before it was always just like singles that I really liked.
Then you'd probably like Andy. You'd probably like Flower Boy more than you'd like Igor.
I'll give it a shot.
Flower Boy is more up your alley, but this one it's off the cuff. This is like the reason I'd say this is Tyler's best work is because he kind of went against the grain of what was expected of him, and he started opening up about what was going on in his life, his sexuality, and then Igor was like a whole bird's eye view into that. It was a whole nother side of him, and it was a whole nother creative side of him, and then like some of the songs that he made were just like, even though they were a little bit strange, like you still bop to it. Like Earthquake is a good song. I don't care what you say. Earthquake is a really good fucking song.
Yeah, this whole album is about him being gay, and like you don't get that. I can't. I guess I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't expect you get that from rap or hip hop that often or ever. So, like an entire album too, especially like that's an interesting thing in of itself.
Interesting, like the message, but I have to enjoy the music too, and I just didn't.
Okay, DJ Khaled.
Well, no, let's not say that.
Yep, you're obviously on the side of DJ Khaled if you didn't like Igor. And I'm saying that because DJ Khaled said the same thing about the album. He's like, oh, this is weird shit. People want to listen to stuff in the club that they want to dance to, not this weird, mysterious shit.
Well, I clearly don't agree with that either because I liked Ghost. Could you tell me what club is playing Ghost?
Just saying.
Club.
I'm going with Igor.
And plus, I know it's gonna lose, but I think the Kendrick Lamar CD is just so good. It's so influential. It's so fantastic.
I'm Igor easily on this one.
Igor, it's Good Cat, Mad City was a good album, but it was not nearly his best work, and it was like it's his introduction into the rap. It's a good album, but I think Section 80 was better. Section 80 was a much better album. To Pimp a Butterfly, I still think it's extremely underrated, even though people just talk about one song. But I'm like, everything on that album was much better. Good Kid, Mad City was good, but
I think every song on Good Kid, Mad City was good. I can listen to every one of them.
I will give a vote to Kendrick. I liked Tyler's stuff as well. I just like Kendrick more. That's all. I like individually, just between these two albums, I liked Good Kid, Mad City a little bit more.
Oh God, so it falls on me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sick of it falling on me.
I am gonna go with the Andes on this one, actually.
Woo!
Sorry.
I have nothing against him. I want to like Tyler the Creator.
Listen, I should have put Flower Boy. Flower Boy was much better. You would have liked it a whole lot more.
Probably.
All right, Kendrick moves on to the semis. Next up is Capital Cities with an Untitled of a Mystery against Anderson .Paak's Ventura.
Look,
This is another easy one for me, Ventura.
My baby's walking into a slaughter. I love Capital Cities, but I can recognize what's going to happen here. So
I'm gonna go with Capital Cities.
Oh, that's what I've heard here. Julian and Andy. Okay, Julian. Andy, it's all up to you.
Fuck. I could also say Capital Cities also performs with a live band. I've seen them twice. It's a way different sound and style than their actual albums, and it's super cool.
Bias.
Yeah, I just think Anderson .Paak has more to say, more real things to say. I like Capital Cities just fine. I love this album, but I'll push Anderson .Paak forward.
That's fine.
Oh,
It's the fact that it's not a slaughter is good in my book. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I mean, Capital Cities doesn't really have anything much to say.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that kind of just poppy earworm music, but at the end of the day, like that's all it is.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good fun album. All right, next up, Michael Jackson against Nick Lutzko. Let's fucking go.
Look, I pushed Michael Jackson through. Well, I didn't need to, but because he would have won anyway. But he earned my vote last time by just being who he is. But did you hear this song's on the computer, guys? It's so good.
Funny. But Michael Jackson, this album alone has influenced a lot of artists. Like, so many people still sample Rock With You. So many people sample Rock With You.
Cool.
I'm gonna vote last. I want to vote last.
Look, I know it's a stupid vote. I'm going with Nick Luck, though.
I'm Michael Jackson. Yeah, I'm Mike. Yep.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
I'm also Michael Jackson. I love the Let's Go stuff. But I think time is up for that bad boy.
Get it. I get it.
Okay, I'm voting songs on the computer. I did not want to introduce another bunger, so I wanted to vote last, and I was a little scared there. Phew.
All right, MJ's on to the final four. Last matchup, Prequel by Ghost, Celebration Rock by Japandroids, and Andy, the Vancouver Canucks used House That Heaven Built for a handful of years as their intro song to the ice.
Cool.
Ghost for me.
I hate the Canucks.
I know, but you said you didn't like that the Hawks used all of the lights.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that they used all of the lights. It's that what they did is they turned off all the lights in the building and just like started. And when it said off the lights, they turn on all the lights and then they blind you with them. You were there for one of the games with me. You were.
That sounds like something like a high school would do for their like orientation, like to try to be hip and cool.
Don't worry, this is
in an auditorium. And
this is like the third highest earning franchise in the NHL doing that. Don't you worry. Yeah, nobody likes that. Nobody liked it. I mean, this is an easy vote for me, so I don't need to say anymore. I've sung its praises in the last round. It's Ghost for me.
Ghost for me.
Androids for me. I can't get behind it.
Yeah, it's Japandroids for me as well, obviously.
Oh, Julian with the decision.
I like both of the albums. Shit, with Japandroids, it was
they don't use a bass player, Julian. That's awesome.
No, it doesn't. It just feels hollow.
I'm just thinking, like, Japandroids, it was too quick of a listen for me. I would have liked to have heard more. And then Ghost was fun to listen to. I had to go with Ghost. I'm sorry.
Understandable, man. All right,
So
go.
Saxophone in My Asthma killed it for me. It was a fucking great song. I love the saxophone.
It's okay. I think I'm the only one voting Ghost next round.
Yeah, probably. All right, final four. Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, Anderson, Pax, Ventura is our first matchup.
I'm not
Easy one for me again, Ventura.
I think my Kendrick Lamar dies here, but I'm gonna vote for it anyway.
I'll get behind you, Andy.
Yeah.
I gotta go Ventura.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you guys. Ventura here.
Yeah, I figured. I like Ventura a lot. I've also said that. So I'm happy Kendrick beat the Tyler the Creator one. I didn't like that one. Losing to Ventura feels like, okay. You know, a difference of opinion here is I like the Ventura one. So
of the three albums that I thought were like good vibe albums, Ventura is the only one that I enjoyed. So, and it's I think maybe the winner, but we'll get to that.
All right, bottom half of our final four: Michael Jackson versus Ghost.
I already got my vote off the wall.
I'm sorry, my baby Ghost here.
Yeah, Michael Jackson for me too.
I'm going Ghost. It don't matter, but
Ghost was so good. Oh well,
right.
I get this as well. I get this final. I understand it.
I mean,
I don't.
15 seed. Absolutely. Anderson, Pax, Ventura, Michael Jackson's Off the Wall.
You already know my vote.
You probably know mine as well. I'm guessing that's 2 for Ventura. I'll let the floodgates open for the Michael Jackson folks.
This is painful. You guys have no idea how painful this is right now.
This is a tough one. I mean, maybe for some, but for me, it's Michael Jackson.
And you know what answer.
I'll go first. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Julian, which one of yours here you want to kill off?
Come on, man. And what makes it worse is that I requested this from Jarek. I was just like, please put this one. And he said, sure. He was so nice about it. Hi, Kelly. We saw that. So, how's everybody's day going?
It'll be better when I see you kill one of these.
Okay. I grew up with Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. I've heard every song on this album since I was 5 years old. So I'm partial to this shit, but I really loved Ventura, and I think Anderson .Paak is an amazing artist. I gotta do a coin flip. I can't.
Do you want me to do it on... Here, hold on. Do you want me to do it on the computer here? So
We thought there would be no tiebreakers.
Because honestly, either one is gonna hurt, but it's also gonna feel good. So I don't know.
All right, Julian. What heads Michael Jackson, tails Ventura, or the other way around? You make the call.
Heads Mike, tails Ventura.
Tails always fails.
Except today, baby.
Okay. Now, Julian,
Ventura.
before we vote, Julian, do you wish it landed the other way?
So I wish it landed there. No.
Did you see the result and you're like, I think it should have gone the other way? No? Okay.
No.
And then I think you actually mean to vote Ventura. If you didn't have that gut reaction of that was wrong.
Well, the results are locked in then.
Yep, no going back here. Anderson .Paak's Ventura, the best album of all time, part number 2. Not the second best album, just 1A with Phony People's album from last time. So we got a 1A and a 1B. And we need about 14 more entries before we can do a best of the best.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Like 2026 or so. We'll get there.
I'm happy with probably 2 of my 3 favorites here in third. I'm good with that. Although I liked Ventura, that might also be in there somewhere as well.
Happy that my pick won, but I'm still mad because I wanted it to go up against Celine Dion so bad.
I know. I wish mine got farther.
You'd have a hard
should
time
have gotten
convincing me to
farther.
vote Celine Dion on any of the matchups.
I'm
Such
glad
a good
people-
fucking album though.
I'm glad people love Nick Lutzko, and I'm glad I didn't do another bunger. So
But I'm surprised Baby Metal didn't get further because I really enjoy Baby Metal.
Good.
But it's up against Kendrick
it
Lamar.
grows on you too.
It does grow on you. I'd listen to it again easily.
Hey, if Baby Metal matched up against a couple of other ones, maybe I'd go that way. But if it matched up against Kendrick Lamar,
I still think you should have picked a better album than Kid Mad City.
I love Good Kid, Mad City. Love every single solitary song.
It's a good album. Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from it. I just feel
I
like
still
it
say
wasn't
Capital
time.
Cities. Capital Cities was my favorite though.
We can do
Capital
it
City.
again in May. You can vote for a different Kendrick Lamar album in May. You can throw it on.
Oh, I'm not. I would have put then if I'm trying to do different bands. I would have done probably Marshall Mathers LP over Good Kid, Mad City. I
Sure.
tried to be a little different.
Well, the power of love is gonna come in the next one. Hopefully, that makes
No, seriously, Tom has inspired me. And the next time we do this, I'm definitely doing all R&B. Best believe it. I'm gonna put Celine. Dion
Julian's
on
gonna look for like the sappiest ballads he could find on a single album and go
Oh,
with
no,
that.
believe it. I'm gonna do Jagged Edge, Boys to Men, Drew Hill, fucking Monica, Brandy, all of them.
Tom, I've got a question. Did Celine Dion ever record a Christmas album?
Oh yes, she did, and I love that one too.
I'm surprised you didn't put like a Mariah Carey album in here.
I wouldn't
What?
listen to it.
I just like some of her hits. I don't know about a whole album. For that.
I've heard plenty of Mariah Carey coming from your room,
Only
especially
her,
around
like-
Christmas.
That's only just really one song. Then
I heard it a lot then.
Hear it every year. They have memes about this shit.
Yeah.
I hate Mariah Carey.
All right, guys. I think we can wrap this one up for the day. As we mentioned, Anderson Paak's Ventura is the best album, part 2. Just like last time, I really enjoyed hearing a bunch of music that I'd never listened to before. Opened my eyes, got some new favorites, some new stuff to check out, and a fantastic Songs on the Computer t-shirt that's coming in about 4 months.
Hell yeah.
You should have
I'll wear it.
voted for it over Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, though. I can do it 100 more times. I'm not voting any differently on that one. All right. So for Andy Mysek, Mr. Wet Hair, the Giggle King, Julian Griffin, Tom Kairos, Mr. Celine Dion, and Holloway, I am Handy Dandy, Andy Jarek. We will see you next week on Bracket Up.